Hello everybody, James Rink here. Welcome to another exciting edition of Super Soldier Talk. It is January 10th, 2015, and tonight I'm going to try to make sure I say this name right, Everístides. Okay, now, well, before she says anything, Everístides speaks Spanish, so we actually have a translator to help us out here. But I was informed that she is able to communicate with the Pleiadians. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my guest, Everístides. Am I saying that name right? And who is doing the translating? Why don't you just move the camera over a little bit so we can see?
I'm the translator and husband also.
Okay, great. And what's your name?
You're getting close enough. Everístides. Everístides, my name is Argola.
Okay. All right. Okay, wonderful.
We use our spiritual names.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess why don't you tell us a little bit about your abilities and what you're able to do and what you can see?
My name means to climb or to go up. Transcendentally, it means to conquer oneself, to conquer knowledge, so then we can go back down and bring this information to the people here on Earth. And one of the things that that are very important to her is to explain to people what channeling means. It basically means to bring information from other planets and other dimensions to bring medicine to the people, to mankind, and so we can have a better understanding of what's happening, not only in this planet, but in the universe, which is, all of it is related.
Okay. So how did she begin to first make contact with the Pleiadians? Did they contact her, or she's always been in contact with them?
She's always been in contact with the Pleiadians, because her body is actually, she is in this body with, she used transmigration of her soul. So when she was 19, when this body was 19 years old, she she entered this body, and it has to do with the agreements which different souls have. So the soul that was born in this body had an agreement with Everístides, which is her, and that soul got out of her body and she entered when she was 19. So she's here with a specific mission, to bring all this information to people.
Okay. So can she give us an idea of what the Pleiadians' role is with humanity in the present day? In particular, because our free will has been interfered with by the Cabal, are the Pleiadians doing anything to help us?
Well, to start with, the Pleiadians actually collaborated with the architects, were the architects of the machine that we live in called the Matrix, which is connected directly with the minds of everyone on Earth. And now they are working in people's dreams to try to translate information to people who are awakening, and are also the race that communicate the most with the real channelers here on Earth.
So what are they doing to interface with the Matrix? Are they altering it, or maybe can she explain what this Matrix is?
Well, to start with, the real name, the Matrix's real name is, I'm going to do my best to translate, it's the understanding entity, which is basically something that is connected with everyone's minds, and we need to decodify several codes that we have so we can start waking up and see through this illusion. It's important that this name is pronounced, the understanding entity, because when you say it, it triggers your emotional hemisphere, which connects to the truth, to the real story behind this.
How do we decode this matrix to break out of it, I guess, so to speak?
Well, there are three basic ways. The first one is that you need to acknowledge the fact that you are in this illusion. That if people keep thinking that they are correct, that nothing's going on, is they are going to keep being manipulated by this entity. So the first thing is to acknowledge the fact that you live inside this. Then, when you acknowledge that you live in this illusion, in this understanding entity, it works from the third and fourth dimension. And there are two parts in the third dimension. There's the real third dimension, which we call the real world, and then there's the reflection, the illusion, which we see. When we apparently wake up every morning, we live in this illusion. It's only a reflection of what the real third dimension is. Then, when you acknowledge that you live in this illusion, in this understanding entity, it works from the third and fourth dimension. And there are two parts in the third dimension. There's the real third dimension, which we call the real world, and then there's the reflection, the illusion, which we see. When we apparently wake up every morning, we live in this illusion. It's only a reflection of what the real third dimension is. There are 64 codes that we need to use to break out of the illusion, and also we need to work with active meditation, which is not only, it's not the meditation that everyone knows about, that you close your eyes and breathe. But basically, when you are doing things every day, you need to be observing yourself all the time and acknowledging yourself in every situation.
Okay. Could she talk a little bit more about these 64 codes?
These codes are images that work directly with our brain, so they can substitute the codes that have been implanted to us by the machine. And these are images with, some have soft colors and others have brighter colors, and they reflect things that we only yearn but are not real in our life, like freedom, revelation, harmony. And you can see these codes actually in the crop fields, right? The crop fields of the symbols that we see are some of these 64 codes that we need to break out of the illusion.
So are we to like meditate on these symbols? Is that how you do it?
Yes, you need to meditate on these symbols. The first time you need to do it, you need to prepare yourself. You need to be fasting, well hydrated, prepare the environment, see it, observe it, feel it, touch it, and meditate. And it's not something that is programmed. It has to do with our emotional hemisphere, so you need to be prepared and do it the correct way.
Okay. Now, I was just a little curious about something. Is your wife, does she have knowledge of the Archon grid? Is there even a way, can that even be translated into Spanish? The Archons?
The Archons are beings that work to keep people under the illusion. It depends, they are segregated, and they are different archons work with different social, cultural, geographical groups, depending on what needs to be done. But they influence directly our brains, so we can keep being asleep. And they work in our dreams when we're sleeping, when we're waking up. Those are basically the times when the archons do their job. And if you want to look at it this way, they are like the counterpart of angels. They are dangerous beings. They are psychic also, and they can attack you if they want.
Okay. Now, the reason why I asked this is I was just wondering, a lot of people who do channeling, how do we know they're not channeling archons who are giving out disinformation, or beings who claiming to be something else? And how can we get above that so we can actually channel, say, ETs of a higher dimension and not be influenced by these other beings?
Well, most channelers, you need to doubt most channelers. Basically, most of them are being manipulated by the archons, by the psychic beings. So we can be in constant misinformation, and a message apparently regarding light, it can be something that just keeps you more asleep. Right? So, Chandler needs to be in constant self-review, always looking at his or her negative side and being in constant detox. So she doesn't, or he doesn't get, he doesn't become a channel of something that is negative or something that has nothing to do with awakening or the light. The most important thing is to keep being joyful and not feel illusioned or excited by things that are not real.
Okay. Thank you. So I would just like to ask, what suggestions do the Palladians or the beings that your wife has contact with have for us to help heal trauma, especially in association with mind control, PTSD, and that sorts? Is there anything that we could do? I guess meditation was one. Anything else?
Well, first of all, don't go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist because they are manipulated by the psychic beings, and they specifically work so people can keep being dependent on something else. And second of all, what is recommended in the different galactic federations is that people need to seek the truth bearers that we were talking about earlier, so they can acknowledge this illusion, and that's the best way to actually get out of the trauma. Remember that this is not real, and that you need to keep waking up, keep working on the process of waking up. And in the third place, shamanic healing or cleansing, because that way they can free the fear that this produced, and after the fear they can remember without that emotion in the way what exactly happened, and that's going to help the waking up process.
Okay. Could we contact her for a shamanic healing? Does she offer any services like that for the public, or is it? I just like to learn a little. If people want to come to her for some help, will she be able to do that at this time?
Yes, absolutely, James. They can contact her. They can talk. Anyone can contact us. We work. This is what we do for a living. So via online, you can do basically anything. Anything that we do here in El Salvador and in Central America. Channeling, personal channeling, shamanic healing. It can be done long distance. That's not a problem. So absolutely, it can be done. Any type of therapy. If someone just needs to talk about their experience, she has experienced, all her life. This is what she's been doing, and I'm doing it with her since a few years ago also. So we'll be more than glad to help anyone who needs it.
Do you have a website people can visit?
Right. We are actually in the process of reworking our website, but I'll send you the email and our Facebook page. We have 3 pages actually. Facebook.
Okay. We'll put that in. I'll put that in later. Yeah, but definitely send that to me, but afterward. Okay, great. So I guess maybe at this time I'd just like to maybe go a little bit more into the actual super soldier phenomenon, and I wanted to go backtrack a little bit here, because some people contact me claiming to get needle marks. I just want to know, do the Palladians or these benevolent extraterrestrials, are they abducting people and injecting them up with drugs or whatever, or taking samples? Hopefully you can translate all that.
Benevolent races can and do abduct also. And the needle marks can be from an abduction from a benevolent race, but they do it to help, like to extract microcircuits, for example, like the ones we were talking about on Facebook. And the Pleiadians and the Syrians work together to specifically extract these circuits, from strategically from people that are working for the cause, if you want to call it that. And so yes, it can be. It can the marks can be from an extraction or also from an implant, right? She's wondering why you're asking so much about the Pleiadians.
Well, I have another question about the Syrians. I was just curious, why were they involved at Montauk? Because I know you mentioned that they're different races, and I know that they were allegedly, they helped give the government technology. I hope I'm not jumping around your question. It's just, I guess at that time, I thought perhaps they might have some answers, but I don't want to focus on one particular way. If Andromedans or any other beings want to, if she's got some information from them, that's fine too.
One of the races that have the best soldiers are the Martians, and there are many, many Martians here on Earth, and many of them work directly with the Illuminati and the reptilian race. And the Pleiadians, there are Pleiadians that work for the light and for the dark, and they work directly with emotions, and the Syrians work directly with the minds and with fire, through fire.
Okay, so that's the connection with Montauk, fire, with the Syrians?
She says that can be talked about in a different, not right now. She wouldn't like to discuss Montauk right now.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, I would just like to give her free reign at this point to, if she has recently talked to any extraterrestrials that would like to share a message with us, I would encourage her or invite her to do so at this time, or them, or whoever.
He says the latest message from the Blue Council in the Intergalactic Confederation is that technology needs to be used only to spread truth and to work for the awakening of the human race, because otherwise it only keeps us more and more enslaved, and it keeps your brain in a frequency that has nothing to do with illumination and with awakening. So you need to get off the cell phones, the computers, social network, unless obviously you use it to spread the truth, to give this message. And we need to go back to our first nature, go back to our mother nature, basically, be in touch with that, because technology has separated humanity in many, many ways. So that's the latest message.
Okay. Would she like to channel any beings at this time? Is anyone coming through, maybe, that would like to talk to us?
Ahorita sería que sea canalizar.
Sí, puedo hacerlo en cualquier momento.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Who? Who is it?
No.
She doesn't know. She's just gonna connect right now and see who speaks to us.
Necesito que alguien respire también.
She needs you to breathe also.
Okay.
Unification is of utmost importance for humanity. And he talked about you directly, James, said that this brother, referring to you, you belong to the ray of revelation. And he gave you your name. Jake, I'm not sure if you know this, but every one of us has a unique name, which is the name of our soul. So we've had many different lives, but we have one name that is for eternity. The pronunciation, I'm gonna write it down for you in a little bit because I couldn't really. It's a little bit hard to pronounce. But he says that you are gonna understand during this year and the beginning of the next why you are so anxious and why you have so much energy and go around from place to place, and you're gonna understand what your mission is, and you're gonna become a protagonist in this message that you're sending to people right now during this year and beginning of the next. And she is channeling Commander Ashtar from the Blue Council. Don't miss the opportunity to have this contact. Stay close, and this will be a blessing for you.
Okay. Could she explain what Ashtar command is? Because there's a lot of different theories on the internet. I'd like to hear it from maybe Ashtar himself. Could he explain what it is?
So they work to serve all the different humanities in this planet or in many other planets that are in transition, like ours. We're in transition from the third dimension to a higher dimension, hopefully. So they work to serve humanity, the different humanities, and they can also take human bodies. They can take a body for a whole lifetime or just for a specific time period.
Okay. Where are they located?
In different places, in the solar system and in the galaxy and in different galaxies. Also, different galaxies that we don't really need to talk about since this galaxy is very large and there has thousands of solar systems.
Hay un comando mayor que está ubicado en el Sol central, por supuesto.
And there is a higher command that is located in the central sun of the galaxy.
Okay. Are they are they on spaceships?
Yes, there are different types of spaceships. There are many spaceships that are like the ones we picture, rather small with monitoring tables. There are other spaceships that are medium-sized. There are some that look like hospitals, like hotels. Many of them have healing chambers, and there are motherships that are like they can be as big as a country. So they definitely, a lot of beings can live on spaceships, and they do.
Is NASA aware of any of these spaceships? Are they covering that up? And more specifically, are they in this physical 3D reality? Can we see if we have a telescope, or are they like in another dimension? Or maybe it's both.
NASA knows everything. They are specifically trained, NASA, to hire individuals that cover everything up. And they are very well trained, so they can sound like intellectuals, and everyone will believe what they're saying. And they can, if they want to, you can see them. They do work in different dimensions, but if you, for example, if you're at the beach and you feel that you're being watched, then you're being watched. And if they want, they can show themselves. But it's their decision. It's not something that happens, every time.
Do you think first contact of these extraterrestrial beings in a public way will that happen in our lifetimes, or maybe even soon?
It will be soon. It has to be soon. It actually shouldn't be later than next year. It's a presentation, but it's also a process. The way they need to work a process to present themselves. Beings that come from above and beings that come from below.
And what is that process? Is Ashtar at liberty of telling us?
The thing is that they are trying to awaken people. We need to be awakened So the process, so when they do present themselves, it it's done more easily, sort of speak. They can do it at any time because they need to let humanity learn by themselves, learn by ourselves. So the moment is right when they present themselves, and everyone finally knows the truth behind all of this. And this has to be done. This great moment is what this is called. Has to be done before or during another event that is going to take place, that the President of the United States is going to present the reptilian race as our gods.
What's going to be the response of most people? Are they going to just believe it, or what's going to happen?
Are the people are going to believe it? Is that the question? Or
Yeah, are people going to believe that?
you probably know about the Blue Beam project. That's going to be the platform that's going to be used. So people's minds are vulnerable. So at that moment, they're going to believe anything.
Well, couldn't Ashtar Command just turn the satellites around or hack them so they give off scary images?
They can do it, and they could do it at any time if they wanted to. But the thing is that this is a process, and in the universe, everything has to do with evolution and process. And free will exists everywhere. So humanity actually needs to learn to make this transition by ourselves and also with their help. But they can't interfere that way because it would be to break basically a universal law. Right? They are in higher dimensions and they can watch over us, and we do receive assistance, we receive guidance, but the choice has to be made by us. So they couldn't interfere in that specific way. But if they wanted to, they could. It's like when Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, they actually interfered in that particular story, and it was just a small pill, like the size of a small pill is what they dropped. So those cities were destroyed. So if they wanted to, they could interfere that way, but right now it's not in any of the plans.
Well, why did the ETs destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? What was going on there?
Because they had to, those places where liberation, there were a lot of eggs hatching in those places of demonic entities, like the ones that are underground in Berlin, in Germany. It's a hybrid race of human, reptilians, and another alien race called the Drax, and it got out of control. Sodom and Gomorrah, basically. So there were a lot of demonic entities hatching, and that's the way it had to be interfered in that particular time. And the radiation that was produced by these eggs hatching started to affect people's minds, and it started to bring out the worst in people. They started to be aggressive, and that's why in the Bible there's a symbolic story where the angels arrived, and the people in Sodom and Gomorrah actually started abusing the angels, and so it got out of control.
Oh, well, when you say these beings were hatching, were they actually reptilians roaming about with humans, intermingling in this city?
The eggs were I'm sure if this is a word, metamorphic. So the beings that hatched were also metamorphic. They could take human form, in any type of human form. So yes, they were roaming about.
Are these what you would refer to as shapeshifters?
There's more than one race, and it's also to shapeshift is also an ability that other races can acquire.
Is that the same as the Anunnaki?
There are several Anunnaki shapeshifting races, but the ones that are more predominant here on Earth are the giant Anunnaki race, and they do not shapeshift.
Is that who runs the cabal?
There are different councils, basically. So the Anunnaki are involved, But just like light workers, for example, the Pleiadian Syrian Council, the Pleiadian Arcturian Council, the alliance that had the Venusians with the Pleiadians, it's the same way, the opposite side, the dark side. Right? So we have the Anunnaki, we have the Reptilians, and they also respect bloodlines. They are very well organized, and the Anunnaki are involved, the Reptilians are involved, the Illuminati are involved, and other races that work with and for them. It's as above as below, basically.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit here. Ashtar, can you ask Ashtar if first contact? Because I was told first contact would look like basically city ships would come down. They're going to be empty, and people can come in and get healed. Is there going to be like any kind of healing city ships? Is that in the first stage of first contact? Is there any truth to that?
Yes, it is true, although the types of ships that are going to be arriving, we don't know yet. I mean, there's going to be all sorts of ships. Some of them are going to be healing. Some of them are going to be rescue ships. But the thing is that everything has to be discussed and put on the table, and they can't allow, for example, just having a huge city-sized ship and having thousands of people go in it and then come back down to be completely awakened. It would be like cheating, so to speak. But yes, definitely, rescue ships actually are already working. Some people have already been taken and putting back here on Earth among us with knowledge that's going to help the awakening process and the dimensional transition. So everything's going to happen, although the specific way is still being discussed.
Okay. What does Commander Ashtar look like?
One of his most common forms to be accepted on this third dimension is about, I'm going to talk in meters because that's our metric system here, about 2 meters, 55 centimeters tall. I guess that's like 8 feet. I'm sure. His hair is very blonde, almost white, blue eyes, and athletic, and doesn't talk, doesn't open his mouth. He just transmits his message. He smiles a lot and is very joyful. Oh, and pink skin.
What kind of clothes do these beings wear?
Most of them are called camp clothing. They're very tight to the body. They are very flexible. They stretch easily, and they can change temperature depending on the circumstances. It's very close to the skin, so they can change the temperature. And they're dark colored and light colored. It depends.
Okay. Are there any reptilians on their council? Any benevolent reptilians, I should say, within their councils? Or are there any benevolent reptilians altogether?
Yes, there are reptilians that have changed sides, basically. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, so do you think we're going to see a pole shift on this timeline?
They're trying that this doesn't happen, but there's a very high probability that it will. And in this year, there are going to be strong movements. Everything can change, but right now that's the probability.
Okay. And what can let's talk a little bit about these mind control programs, because I've been getting needle marks, and you said something quite interesting, that there was some kind of circuitry in my mouth from Scientologists. Could she elaborate a little bit more on that?
The thing there are many types of implants, basically. That's one type, what we're telling you about. And basically anything that can stay in your body, like a dental implant, like a prosthetic any type of prosthetic device that you have, um, pacemakers, anything that something that stays in your body that sends an electric impulse that gives you direct information about the emotional process of anyone who has these. And there's a direct manipulation. All of these devices send the information, and there are ways to extract them, although it can't be done by physically extracting them because the cabal works in the third and fourth dimension. So the way to do it is through a shamanic healing that alters these two dimensions, and it's not specifically to extract it physically like with surgery, but there is a way to do this, and these microcircuits don't keep doing what they were meant to do.
And so what are they trying to do to me?
They have located you, James. They know what you're doing. They know who you are, and you're one of the people that are telling other people about this. So when the cabal knows about someone who who can talk about these subjects, they don't pay much attention. But when suddenly they notice someone that has followers or has more people that actually believe what he or she is saying, then they consider that individual potentially dangerous. So they can monitor. There are many ways, like we were chatting on Facebook. You asked, you said that you didn't know the bad guys had access to what you were doing, and I said that we live in the bad guys' house. Basically, they control everything. They do know what's going on. The thing is that this is a game, right? So they can let it slide, but if they can see someone that is potentially dangerous, they're going to monitor more closely.
Okay, and is that who these two people in the university you said that were watching me? Supposedly they were Scientologists. Are they like a government? Is this a government agency or?
It is an agency, but from the secret government. It's not something that is in the light.
Is Ashtar Command or any of the benevolent extraterrestrials, are they doing anything to interfere with what they're doing, as far as the mind controlling that's going on this planet? Like in particular me with the needle marks, because a lot of people are getting these and they don't know what to do. And is there anything? I know this is like a lot of questions here, but can Ashtar help any of us out or?
Well, if the people who are having these experiences, if they suddenly feel that they are being alleviated somehow, like they feel not as trapped as they used to feel, then more than likely the medics are working with them. Medic is what they call the soldiers that work directly with the extraction of the microcircuits. They do interfere. It's not always. It has to do with a lot of things, but people do receive direct assistance from the Ashtar Command. But if they feel like they are trapped, like they suddenly work out this cosmic drama in their mind, it's just further manipulation. And if you feel that you're being abducted, that all of these bad things are happening to you, it's just to keep you, under the radar. And there are two types of situations here in this dimension. There are people who are constantly being abducted, yes, but there are also people that are being attacked by the incubus and succubus, which are basically entities that drain energy to keep people under, enslaved or feeling unconscious. I mean, in a way that you're not, that like a robot, like just working mechanically and not being self-conscious at any time.
Okay. Well, how can we request assistance from Ashtar to help us out if we feel like we're being victimized? I hate to use that word, but um, can they help us for those healing teams where they take us up, I guess, and work on us?
Well, first of all, to receive that type of assistance, you need to be in a calm state of mind. Someone who is too desperate, who is too anxious, is not going to be able to connect with these energies because they are intense, however, they are very subtle. They are subliminal energies that handle very different frequencies from the ones that we are used to here in this very dense world that we live in. So you need to be in a calm state of mind. You need to be aware of what's happening, but not desperate, so you can connect with these subtle energies that can assist you in a certain time. Also, it has to do with karma, basically. If you have acquired, good karma during your lifetimes, then you have the opportunity to be assisted in that. It has to do with many things, but physically, you can't be in an altered emotional state. That's not going to work. What works the best is to offer something in exchange.
I have no I have nothing. I don't know what they would want. What would they want for an exchange? In exchange,
They don't want anything for themselves. What they need you to do is provide service to humanity. For example, what you do, telling people about this. That's a service that you provide humanity, right? So if you need assistance or someone that you know of needs this type of assistance, what we talked about, but they can offer something in exchange. And what the benevolent races, the higher dimensional beings, want from us, what they want the most is Earth to be successful in this transition, in this dimensional transition. That we go up dimensionally, that we stop suffering, that we stop killing ourselves, that we stop killing our Mother Earth, right? So we can live with unconditional love, which is basically what God wants. And God is nothing more than the higher dimensional beings that we're talking about right now. And they also have their own gods. So it's something that goes up and down infinitely. So what they want in exchange from us is to love, so we can love each other, so we can serve each other. That's what you offer if you want this type of assistance.
oh yeah. Okay, so I was just curious. What does Ashtar say about any other future events we can expect to see? Possibly.
She says that one of the things, it's a bit difficult to say specific dates because what we know in this dimension as a year is a different electric cycle than the, as we said earlier, time only exists in this third dimension. But around May, approximately, it's expected to, they expect to have a larger effect awakening the people, specifically in the religious sectors, since religion is one of the most successful ways to separate and manipulate humankind. And so they expect in May to have a larger effect in religious groups, so people start opening their minds. This is something that is very different from the way reptilians work, because this is subtle energies. It has to do with emotion, with calm state of mind, the awakening process. And reptilians work with impulse, with aggressiveness, and this is what they do. The reptilians, that's what they do. They are aggressive, they are impulsive, and they work with other alien race, strategic, and work more with the process of building the strategies to keep people manipulated. But the reptilian itself is impulsive and aggressive. They don't have round tables discussing what to do with humanity. They have other races that do that for them. It's also expected that the Cabal sends a new biological attack. So what we're talking about what we're talking about right now, they want to do it before this happens. Because a lot of people, especially in Latin America, a lot of people believe in illness. So it's very easy for them to manipulate minds that way.
Okay, and I'm assuming, are you from El Salvador?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was just curious, are there carnivorous reptilians? Do they actually eat humans? I should have been more specific. Do they eat humans, these reptilians?
Yes, absolutely. She says that these are called the monsters, which is like they are like the deities. They're deities, right? So they are fed with blood rituals, and with the energies that have to do with violence, aggressiveness. This is what fear feeds them. Fear, aggressiveness, hate, obviously, and yes, literally blood.
Wow. Okay. Well, no surprise there. All right. And I was curious, will the Vatican be involved in this process with the religious awakening?
Do you mean if the Vatican is going to help the process?
Yes.
Que si va a ayudar en el proceso.
Por supuestísimo.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. The Vatican works directly with keeping people asleep, and they work directly with the reptilians. They are reptilians.
El Vaticano es la capital de la manipulación.
The Vatican is the capital of manipulation.
Is there archonic energy going through that Vatican City area? Like control? Is it like a control grid?
Absolutely. Basically, in the Vatican, there are a lot of energies that work for manipulation. Everything there is built with sacred geometry, as you probably know. Right? So sacred geometry is used for good and evil. All of the guards, all of the librarians in the Vatican are psychic beings that help guard what's really happening. They make an ethereal barrier so people are not aware of what's really happening. There are a lot of people that visit the Vatican with the illusion of seeing the Pope, for example, and they don't know it, but they're being drained of their life energy, and they go back to their homes with, they could also go back with microcircuits or, with neurological implants, ethereal, obviously, and all of this happens directly in the Vatican. The reptilians, the Illuminati, they work there. It's basically their home base.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess that doesn't surprise me either. Okay. Is there anything else about the future timelines, or should I proceed to my next question?
Si hay alguna otra cosa de los momentos próximos, o si hace otra pregunta.
No, quiero otra pregunta.
You can ask something else.
Okay.
Mucho que decir.
She says you have a lot to ask, and she has a lot to say, so it's fine.
Great. Okay. Well, there's a lot of Milabs, which are known for military abductions. Other people who have been involved, super soldiers, they claim they've seen beings that have a triangle with a circle, and I will draw that for you. It looks like this. They see this patch on these beings, and I was just curious. What can she tell me about the beings that wear this patch? What does that mean?
You said that people who have been abducted, they see this patch, and the people who abducted?
Yes, the different types of aliens. Some of them are reptilians, some are grays. There probably are some Palladians as well.
That symbol is something worn by the beings that work for the Galactic Federation. Okay, there are two things that might be confusing, so we need to make this really clear. We've talked about the Intergalactic Confederation. The Ashtar command is part of the Intergalactic Confederation, but there's something else that's called the Galactic Federation. The name is similar, but it's something completely different. The Galactic Federation is a group of several beings from different races that work independently. So they don't work necessarily for the Reptilians, and they don't work necessarily for the Intergalactic Confederation. Right? So they're bounty hunters, they're mercenaries, they're scientists, they are soldiers, doctors, all types of people. So yes, bounty hunters. Mm-hmm. So that symbol, it's not unusual that a lot of abductees have seen this symbol, because obviously they have been abducted by people who work for the Galactic Federation.
What is the symbol for the Ashtar command? And I guess that's the Intergalactic Confederation.
Right. There are many symbols, but the most commonly used in this, the ones they use the most for our dimension is the 8-point star, an 8-point star, something that looks like a lightning bolt, but also like an S, similar to the Superman S, but more like a lightning bolt, and a V, like a V-shaped neck, which is usually gold or white.
Okay. I was curious, I guess we could probably just wrap this up for the last question, but I was told that she possibly may have known about some of the missions I was involved with, and is that something that we can discuss at this time, or even discuss at all?
Well, to start with, James, you need to you should surround yourself by some crystals. What you need, and I apologize, but I don't know the exact names in English of some of the crystals that she's saying right now. But an amethyst.
Okay.
Right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
A big one.
Is this big enough?
Sí.
Yes.
Porque yo no la sentí.
You need to program it.
And how do we go about programming crystals?
Well, you need to bond with the crystal, basically. First of all, you need to sleep close to it, and you need to charge it with the sunlight. And after it's charged, the best hour is around noon, from 10 a.m. to noon. You need to talk to it. This is an elemental energy that's going to serve without asking any questions, obviously. So you just need to talk to it, to tell it to free you from all the negative energies that surround you, that want to harm you, because you have a lot of condensed negative energies around your spine, and you need to be freed of this, and that crystal is going to help you do that. It's basically to create a bond with the crystal, so it can keep freeing you, and it needs to be cleansed and charged every once in a while. It's a big one, so you don't need to do it every day.
Okay, and so that's basically it for. Just do that for now.
Que el momento es no he dicho los otros cristales.
No, el citrina y el jade.
El citrina sí,
Dile que lo busque.
Then you need a yellow crystal. I'm not sure what's the name in English, but the ones that are yellow, I think it's
citrine, probably.
Yeah, exactly. The one that's yellow and fades into white, and jade. And on your bed, a pink quartz.
Rosa y violeta.
Rosy
Pink
quartz.
And violet. Pink and violet facing each other. A rose quartz and a violet one facing each other on your bed.
Tienen que ser limpios, cargados y programados.
All of those have to be cleansed, charged, and programmed. You can clean them also with water and salt. Incense also. Y en el cuello
Ahí puede tener el jade y el string.
you can wear the jade and the string around your neck for protection.
All right. Okay. I'll do that. And so I guess that will help release the negativity. And others can do that as well. Theoretically, correct?
Right. Exactly. Crystals are, they serve, unconditionally. They are in a state which we call divine ignorance. So they just are one with Mother Nature, and they're going to serve you as long as you cleanse them, you charge them, and you make a bond with them. So that goes out to everyone who's listening. Absolutely. So specifically, each person needs different kinds, but the amethyst is specifically for transmuting negative energy. So everyone should have these violet, beautiful crystals. The one that you have is very nice, so I'm sure that's going to work great for you, James.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, I think this might be a good place to stop. Would you like to come back again, perhaps, and we could do a part 2 for this?
Por supuesto que sí.
Absolutely.
Y si puede más temprano, así está.
And if we can do it earlier, all the better.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do is actually invite the audience. If you would have any questions on what to ask for the next episode, just go ahead and put it in the comments section below, and we can get back to you on this. So, is there? Could you ask your wife if there's any final comments she would like to make before we conclude?
Well, first of all, for you, James, she says that don't get too excited. Acknowledge excitement, but don't get completely involved with it. Always involve yourself with other people. Know them, talk to them, get involved with people, but acknowledge always their soul. Remember that the mind is manipulated, the mind is enslaved, but inside that body there is a soul which is free. And handle fear with meditation. You know about meditation, but you need to get involved with everyone you know, and just keep joyful. Keep joyful. Handle fear with meditation and with joy. Bring yourself constantly to a joyful state of mind.
Okay, great. Well, there you have it. I'm going to try to say your name right again. Is it Everístides? Is that it?
Everístides.
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 Okay. Well, thank you very much, and everybody, please visit our website at supersolartalk.com. We'll have all the contact details or whatnot, so you can get in contact with our guest tonight. So once again, thanks everybody, and thanks everybody, and have a good night or day wherever you may be.
James, she's gonna tell you something for you to repeat in Spanish.
En amor mutuo.
En amor mutuo. Can you repeat that?
En amor mutuo.
Más separado.
En
amor
mutuo.
And bring your hands together.
En amor mutuo.
En amor mutuo.
En amor mutuo.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that Spanish?
Yes.
Sí.
It's in mutual love, it means.
Oh, namaste. And among mutwa. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
All right.
We'll keep in touch. I'm not sure if I guess
Yeah.
we can talk right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I wanted to ask some other questions. I didn't want to include on the video because it had to go with me in particular. Like, I was hoping. I was wondering if there's any truth to, because I was told that I have a biological father that's Palladian reptilian mix. I didn't want to ask her that, is there? Could you just ask her that question real quick and then we can conclude?
Ya lo vi. Sí.
She says that this being does exist. Right now, she had an impression, and actually, that's why she's covering her third chakra. That's why when she knows about these things, she can have an image suddenly. So she just saw this being. So it does exist. He does exist. TM.
Okay. All right.
She's gonna write about it. Okay.
Thank you. And what's Spanish for thank you?
Gracias.
Gracias.
Yeah, thank you, James. It's been a real pleasure,
Buenas noches.
brother. Have a good night, and yeah, please let's keep in touch.
What's Spanish for good night?
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, James.